Hey, you guys. I want to share a few things that the Lord had shared with me over the course of this year. And He's been showing me these things for a while, but more so this year. And this is pertaining to the Black Lives Matter movement and this neo Nazi white supremacist agenda. In this vision, I saw a golden pyramid with the all seeing eye. And a black fist rose up in front of it. And right then and there, I knew that this had to do with Black Lives Matter. And because of the Golden Pyramid, I knew that this was an Illuminati agenda. Um, the next thing I was shown, there was a few things because for this past year, the Lord, every time I would have a dream, certain dreams I would have, it's like I would be somewhere, whether I was in another country or in a certain situation at a party, there was always this sense of Martin Luther King. And it's like I wouldn't see him, but I would feel that the party that I was at or the place where I was at, that he was somewhere in the vicinity. I just felt, I don't know, that Martin Luther King was around. I also, in one dream that I had, I'm not going to tell you the whole dream, but there's a dream where there is a lot of black people in this church, and they were praising the Lord. And one of the women that was praising the Lord, when I looked at her, I noticed that her face was covered in blood, and she had a noose around her neck. And then again, I had this instinct, this feeling of Martin Luther King. And I couldn't understand why. I couldn't understand what the Lord was showing me. So then I have this dream, like I said, where I felt like I was in hell. And again, like I said, the swastika was drawn on the sheet that I was laying underneath. And I knew that this had to do with white supremacy, neo-Nazi, something very horrific and vile and demonic that was coming upon this earth. So let me share this dream that the Lord gave me. And I'll also post that dream um, that I was just talking about below for anybody that hadn't seen it. Um, so in this dream, I was working in a mall, and the area of the mall that I was working in, it looked like it was a place like a hospital for the criminally insane. And I was working with this black guy. He had long dreadlocks, and you know, it was like we were overseeing a pit. It was like a dark pit, and the only light that was emitting from that dark pit was this cruddy old looking stone fireplace. And there was a fire blazing. And on the floor around this fireplace were a whole bunch of white men. They were all bald headed. They were very dirty. Their wife beaters were very dirty because they all had wife beaters on, and it was like they were laying down sleeping. So I remember that I walked away for some reason. I think I went to go take a break. So I left, and then it's like I came back, and my partner says to me, he says I have to turn them loose. So I looked at him and I'm like, okay. So he did something like I think he rang a bell, and as soon as he did that, they all stood up immediately. And the next thing, there are like flying up the stairs like, like a herd, you know, and out of the crowd, one of the guys had ran over to the black guy and started shouting offensive things to him, very offensive things to him. And so the black guy, at first he was trying to contain himself, but eventually, he gave in and he started shouting offensive things back at the white guy. And so it started getting really bad until this woman out of nowhere walks over. And I believe that she was an angel. She walked over and she put her hand on the black guy's shoulder. And then she put her hand on the white guy's shoulder. And she told them both to stop. And then she sent the white guy on his way back into the crowd with, the other white guys that were running out the building. So the next thing you know, I woke up and I knew exactly what this dream meant. I knew that the Lord was showing me that there was something very demonic and coming out of being released from the pits of hell, and that this had to do with a race war. And I know that this is going to happen. This is inevitable. It's going to happen. Especially what occurred in Charlottesville. With everything, take it to the Lord always. Whatever I share with you, and anything that any of your other, anything that any other brother or sister shares, we're supposed to go to the Lord for everything, everything. So I'm glad I waited to share it, and it's like the Holy Spirit just put it in me as to the perfect timing to share these revelations that had been given to me by the Lord.